ain't never gonna stop. To the top, to the top, ain't never gonna stop. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me, go down in history. Every day I fight to be legendary. Fly high, or will I fall? Legends made when faith is strong. No time to bleed, I'm conquering. I'm alive, I'm pushing the pain, I'm in for the prize. Some people wanna turn and run, but the strong rise under the gun. Top to the top, ain't never gonna stop. To the top, to the top, ain't never gonna stop. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me, go down in history. Every day I fight to be legendary. Every day I fight to be wings are made to fly, made to fly. Fears are born to die, born to die. Pushing through the pain, through the pain. Pushing through, breaking through, whatever it takes, what I gotta do. Giving my all, giving all that I got. Never will stop till I get to the top. To the top, ain't never gonna stop. To the top, to the top, ain't never gonna stop. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me, go down in history. Every day I fight to be legendary. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me, go down in history. Every day I fight to be legendary.
If you smell what the rock is cooking. The rock says, the rock says, the rock says, the rock. They talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying. This blood that's trying, I feel tension rising.
Hello and welcome to the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Rock Jones and
Sean Brandy Smith, as we bring you the pre-show to tomorrow night at the time of this recording, Clash of Champions 2020, which once again, due to COVID-19, it'll be held from the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida.
yes, WWE will continue its reign of events at the Amway Center. However, this could be the penultimate pay-per-view to take place at the Amway Center because after Hell in a Cell, WWE may need to move out of the Amway Center.
Yes, very good point, that.
But Clash of Champions Gold Rush. Clash of Champions is the one pay-per-view of the year where every main roster championship is defended.
Yes.
That gives us 9 matches in total, 10 if you add a comedic element to it.
Yeah, but if you're looking for normal matches, it's 9.
So, starting with the pre-show match,
which is for the Raw Championship, as Zelina Vega challenges the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka,
yes,
the Raw Championship.
After having a backstage confrontation with Asuka, Zelina Vega this past Monday defeated Mickie James to earn the right to challenge Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Zelina, you ain't winning this match.
Yeah, I have to agree with my colleague. Zelina Vega, you are not walking out as the Raw Women's Champion. The Empress will be.
Now we go to the main card.
Yes.
Starting with the WWE Championship match. Now, to do this, we have to rewind slightly. At SummerSlam, Drew McIntyre defeated Randy Orton for the WWE Championship with a small package.
Yes, roll me up, thank you very much.
So the night after SummerSlam, he comes out and gloats how he beat, quote-unquote, the greatest wrestler ever.
Oh, I need to stop doing that, don't I?
And that he knew that Randy Orton wanted a rematch. As McIntyre would make his exit, he was attacked by Randy Orton and hit with not one but 2 punts.
Yes.
Later on in the evening, Randy Orton was forced to bask in his glory as Keith Lee made his main roster debut.
With awful theme music, but that's another story for another time.
And the two faced off in a match, which ended when Drew McIntyre attacked Orton. However, he was attacked again backstage and hit with a third punt kick, sending Drew McIntyre off in an ambulance and off of TV for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Randy Orton would face Keith Lee again at Payback, in which Orton would bask in his glory.
Literally, I would, yes.
Then we had a series of one-on-one matches for the night after on Raw, 3 one-on-one matches, in which the 3 winners would then face each other in a triple threat match to decide who the number one contender to the WWE Championship would be.
And the three superstars heading into that triple threat were
Randy Orton, Keith Lee, and
he's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy.
Seth Rollins. Ultimately, Orton would win the triple threat match and gain the rematch he so desperately wanted for the championship. Then, a couple of weeks later, or a week later, Drew McIntyre would appear back on our screens and hit Orton throughout the course of the night with not one, not two, but 3 claymores.
Literally entering my chart, that's crazy.
This would send Randy Orton off in an ambulance.
In a roles reversal kind of way.
So then, McIntyre decided to have the stipulation added to this match and make it a ambulance match.
A match type that we have not seen in WWE for quite a while.
Yes, in 3 years. However, due to some people being unsure if Orton would be able to compete, Keith Lee was again pushed back into championship contention, only to be interrupted by a little group of idiots known as Retribution.
Yes, moving on.
But after all is said and done, it will be Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Randy Orton in an ambulance match. Now, an ambulance match, the only way to win the match is to get your opponent into the back of an ambulance, close the doors, and then the loser is then driven to a hospital.
Literally, that's how the match would go.
So, the question is, will Drew McIntyre's 7th month reign as champion continue, or will Randy Orton pick up his 14th World Championship?
Only time will tell.
Our next match
Is for the Universal Championship, as it will be cousin versus cousin. Roman Reigns defending his championship against Jey Uso.
Yes, you heard that right. First of all, at SummerSlam, in a Falls Count Anywhere match, The Fiend Bray Wyatt defeated Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship.
Yes.
A week later at Payback, he would lose the championship in a triple threat match, which was mostly a one-on-one match to the very end, to Roman Reigns, after Roman Reigns came back immediately following the match at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns was then graciously enough to give his cousin a championship match.
Yeah.
However, this past Friday on SmackDown, last night even,
At the time of this recording.
Roman basically delivered almost some home truths to Jey that he was the chief of the family and was going to be on top, and finished the evening by delivering a Superman punch
on the entranceway.
Is Blood Lily figuring water?
Tune in to Clash of Champions on Sunday to find out.
Can Jey Uso pull up an upset? Or will Roman Reigns literally murder his own family?
Pretty much, that's the only way to describe it.
Next, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship, when a very pissed off Bayley, who has been in a bad mood ever since losing the Women's Tag Team Championships, causing her to turn on her best friend Sasha Banks, but that'll be going into a whole other thing.
Yep.
Will defend the championship against Nikki Cross after Nikki Cross won a fatal 4-way match featuring Alexa Bliss, Lacey Evans and Tamina.
Yes. So, who do we see walking out as the SmackDown Women's Champion?
Well, I say this goes one of two ways. One, Bayley walks away with the championship, which is the more likely outcome. Or the second option is that Sasha Banks costs Bayley the championship, and which will then lead to those two going at it at Hell in a Cell. They would probably go at it at Hell in a Cell anyway, but I would like to think that it would be for the championship.
Yeah, pretty much.
An argument can be made that it doesn't need the championship, but the whole way the story has been going, it's that Sasha Banks will be the person to take the title off of Bayley.
Pretty much. So the next match will be for the Women's Tag Team Championships, as the actual team, the Riot Squad, challenged the kind of female Team Hell No version of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
Yes, the Riot Squad reunited a couple of months ago to deal with the Iconics. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler came together in pursuit of the Women's Tag Team Championships and won them at Payback.
Incomprehensive.
Then the Riot Squad had a match against the Iconics with the stipulation that the winners would be the number one contenders for the Women's Tag Team titles, and the losing team must split.
And as you may have guessed,
The Riot Squad won, and as a team, the Iconics are no more, at least as of now.
as of now, yes. So who do we see going in, walking out as the Women's Tag Team Champions?
I think that there is more self-life in Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler at the minute. I don't think that they should be just like 1 month champions.
No, I agree.
Speaking of tag team titles, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura will defend the SmackDown tag team titles against not the New Day, for once, not Miz and Morrison, but the Lucha House Party.
In Kalisto, Grand Metalik, and or Lince Dorado, depending which people they use.
These two teams have been going at it in various matches over the past few weeks. There has been a little bit of dissension in the Lucha House Party with Kalisto and Gran Metalik, I think it is.
Gran Metalik or Lindsay Dorado, one of the two.
And I can't decide here because I think the Lucha House Party are quite possibly overdue, as maybe you could argue overdue as reigning as champions. But I kind of like the team of Cesaro and Nakamura.
So do I, to be honest.
Plus,
They've definitely got more sell life in the titles.
plus, when you look at the champions, or the champions on SmackDown, 3 of them in the Universal Championship, the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, and the Women's Championship are all held by heels.
True, you're very, very true there.
Our next match, there's a bit of a story behind it.
It does.
So let's rewind all the way back to February. At the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, Sami Zayn won the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes, at Elimination Chamber, when we actually had crowds.
Then, due to a certain
COVID-19.
Sami Zayn elected to refrain from competing and was therefore stripped of the Intercontinental Championship on May 12th.
Yeah.
Then, a tournament was set up to crown a new champion, which was won by AJ Styles.
Yes.
Then, on the August 21st episode of SmackDown, AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy went 1-on-1 for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep.
AJ Styles had weakened Jeff Hardy's knee earlier in the night.
Yep.
However, Jeff Hardy won the championship.
By whacking AJ Styles on the top of the head with the knee brace.
Not deliberately.
Nope. Much to the claim and much to the shenanigans of AJ Styles.
But AJ Styles was constantly complaining about that. Also, at this period, on the August 28th episode of SmackDown, Sami Zayn reappeared.
After nearly half of being away.
After being away for about 7 months.
Yes. He would come back to the company, but he would have his own Intercontinental Championship.
Yes, claiming that he was the true Intercontinental Championship. Taking a page out of Shawn Michaels' playbook, are we?
And taking a page out of a certain CM Punk.
Yes. So, for a few weeks, they went back and forth as to who the rightful Intercontinental Champion was.
Yeah.
So, in a throwback match to the classic match at WrestleMania 10 between Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn will compete in a triple threat ladder match to determine the undisputed Intercontinental Champion.
Where the only way to win is you have to climb the ladder like a regular ladder match and claim and grab both Intercontinental Championships to win the match.
We should emphasize here as well, for going into the match, WWE recognizes Jeff Hardy as the defending champion.
Yes, so don't get confused with Sami Zayn, okay?
Going back to tag team championships.
Yes, this time involving Raw.
A week ago, there was a triple threat tag team match with Murphy and
He's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy.
Seth Rollins taking on Humberto Carrillo and Dominic Mysterio, taking on Andrade and Angel Garza, who can't decide if they love each other or hate each other.
That's pretty much the right word for it.
Where the winners would face the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Andrade and Angel Garza would win this match and earn the shot, and this is essentially a rematch from SummerSlam.
It is, pretty much.
And due to the fact that Street Profits have been champions for about 7 months now, I could see them lose the titles.
You could?
Speaking of rematches, for what feels like the 100 millionth time, Apollo Crews is facing a member of the Hurt Business.
Bobby Lashley, as Lashley defends his United States Championship against Apollo Crews, providing a certain little group called Retribution don't get involved.
Yes, Retribution could get involved in either that match or the ambulance match, so really any match on the Raw side of stuff.
Since they are contracted to Raw, despite their stupid names, WWE.
Yes, and this is a rematch because it was a payback of Bobby Lashley defeated Apollo Crews to win his second United States Championship. Now, somewhere in all of this chaos
will be the WWE 24/7 Championship.
Yes, which is currently being held in his 39th, yes, you heard me right, 39th reign of R-Truth.
Now, how many times this title would change hands is a different story. Then let us run you through this match card in no particular order.
Starting on the kickoff / pre-show, Asuka defends the Raw Women's Championship against Zelina Vega.
Drew McIntyre will defend his WWE Championship against Randy Orton in an ambulance match.
Roman Reigns defends the Universal Championship against his cousin Jey Uso.
Bayley will defend her SmackDown Women's Championship against the Twisted Sister, Nikki Cross.
Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defend the Women's Tag Team Championships against the Riot Squad's Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan.
Also, we will have, since Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura with their SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line against the Lucha House Party.
And Jeff Hardy will defend the Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles and Sami Zayn, where they will determine who the rightful undisputed Intercontinental Champion is.
Yes, the Street Profits will defend the Raw Tag Team Championships against Andrade and Angel Garza.
And Bobby Lashley defends the United States Championship against Apollo Crews, and somewhere in all this chaos we will have the 24/7 Championship.
Yes, so Clash of Champions at the time of this recording takes place tomorrow night.
Yes, in about 28 hours.
So until then, he's been
It's Salah Jones, and he's been
Sean Randy Smith, and we will see you next time.